Well, not only did this weekend storm, of course, cause some issues on the roadways across Minnesota, but plenty of issues in Iowa as well. So we wanted to dial in Craig Bargfried. He's the Winter Operations Administrator.
I'm sorry, I cannot hear.
I feel like, a lot of us either head through Iowa or, of course, have maybe family or friends in the state of Iowa where we would take the stretches of interstates that were actually closed this weekend.
Yeah, bear with us a second as we get Craig back. Craig, if you're on the other line, you can start to hear us again. Give me a thumbs up so I know you're ready to go. Okay, it looks like he's back. I'll just summarize kind of quickly here before we toss it over to Greg. We talked about how bad the conditions were in southern Minnesota. Looking at the map in Iowa, those roads look better than they do around the Rochester area. So we'll go back to Craig now, and he can talk more about that.
Okay, Craig, glad to have you with us. I'm sure you've been pretty busy today.
So the conditions that we saw across the state of Iowa yesterday were very hazardous and dangerous. We did not receive as much snow as what you guys forecasted or received in southeast Minnesota. However, we did experience the very, very strong winds. We saw winds in the 50 to 60 mile an hour range, which really caused some very significant hazardous conditions across the state. Very low visibility, which caused us to have to close I-35 from Ames all the way up to the Minnesota border. And then we closed I-80 pretty much across the whole entire state. We just reopened I-35 here about an hour ago. I-80 has now reopened across the entire state.
Craig, can you talk a little bit about just your job and when do you make that determination? And for instance, how you said, this interstate just opened up about an hour ago. When do you make that determination as well to open it back up?
So we've been monitoring this forecast for the past 2 or 3 days and really trying to hone in on the timing, the impact from a precipitation standpoint, and how much we were going to receive. Our main concern was the type of precipitation and following the winds that were going to impact the state. And so we preemptively closed I-35 yesterday at about 3 o'clock. And the reason was to prevent the number of incidents that we have seen in the past with the traveling public, especially when we have low visibility situations. I-80, we continue to monitor that, and we had some incidents that occurred later on in the afternoon and evening, which caused us to then have to react and shut down I-80, basically across the whole entire portion of the state.
Yeah, Craig, and I think we're looking at right now some video that the Iowa DOT, posted this morning as you're talking about some of those, windy, drifty kind of conditions. We can see it for ourselves right here. Low visibility, you almost can't see anything but those flashing lights.
Yes, that's correct. And we got many reports from Iowa State Patrol and our own DOT staff that visibility was down to just feet in front of our trucks. We have some trucks that are outfitted with JD Path systems, which are systems that allow us to stay on the roadway during these types of low visibility situations. And we had a couple of instances where we utilized those trucks to escort ambulances for patients that needed to get to the hospital. And so very much a impactful situation that we saw here yesterday.
Yeah, we always think about those emergency, responses that, through everything, you always need to get to where you need to be, especially if someone has an emergency. Craig, I was also monitoring some social media too, I think with the Highway Patrol, because you mentioned them. And I believe they posted a video earlier today with one of their sergeants that was actually out. And there was, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, multi-vehicle, I think it was a pileup of maybe semi-trucks. And that sergeant has stepped out, and then his vehicle was actually hit by a different semi-truck. So I've been seeing a lot of those reports, and also some of the semis just in the, I guess, far right lane, I would assume in some of those like travel kind of areas. Is there anything else that you think that we should know about as far as closures across the state or some of the impacts that we are seeing there in Iowa?
The biggest message that both the Iowa DOT and the Iowa State Patrol, what we try to get across to the traveling public, especially when we saw conditions like we saw yesterday, was these are dangerous conditions. When we say travel not advised, people need to heed these warnings and, if at all possible, just stay home because of an instance just like you described, where we had multi-car, multi-truck incident. This trooper was there to respond and thankfully had just gotten out of his vehicle. He was operating an SUV. And so just after getting out of that vehicle, a semi came up on the accident and lost control and pretty much totaled his vehicle. Thankfully, no one was hurt.
Yeah, that is the ultimate, the best news possible out of something like that, and especially seeing the video, just kind of putting it into perspective of the drifting snow and then the low visibility. So, Craig Barfield, we want to say thank you to you for what you do, all of you do, and all of your workers as well out there on the roadways, because definitely makes a difference for us, for sure.
Well, thank you so much for having me on and sharing our story.
Of course. Have a wonderful day.